Everyone, we are back to cover this Tuesday slate for NBA. It's starting at 1:30, so let's get right into it. Yesterday was a good day for the NBA, thanks to Anthony Davis going nuts for over 70. TJ Warren went for over 70, so scored over 300 on Draftkings and scored over 360 on Fanduel, so looking to keep it going today. So let's get started. You can hit the like button down below and subscribe if you have not already. Use the same core picks that I had in yesterday's video, so hopefully if you use them, you at least made some money. And let's get started. So starting off here at point guard, we have a ton of studs today. You have James Harden, Luka Doncic, Lillard, Westbrook, all above 9,000. Harden is 11-3 against Portland. That game is the nightcap. It's going to be a pretty fun one to watch. Probably should be fun for fantasy as well. I like De'Aaron Fox is only 7,300. I think he looks very solid today, and I will probably go with him just because it's going to be a fast-paced game against the Mavericks. We saw how fast they played against Houston and how fast they played against Phoenix, even though they lost in that game. But it should be a high-scoring game, and Fox does very well in games that go up and down the court. He is very fast in getting to the rim, and he can get you a lot of steals because of like his quick hands and all that good stuff. Only played 25 minutes. That game was just ugly against Orlando. But this game, he's done pretty well in the two meetings against them this year, and I think it should be another good matchup for Fox. He definitely has huge upside, and at just 7,300, I find it like that he fits very well into your lineup. So shooting guard, the Nets are super depleted, but DraftKings did a pretty good job of pricing them up, so I'm not that interested in really anybody. You could take a shot on Tyler Johnson if you want, but like he's 6,600, you're gonna need him to actually have a good game in this game. It's probably gonna turn ugly. I'm not interested in any Milwaukee players because I feel like this game is probably gonna be over very quickly, at least like by the third quarter maybe, and then they're not gonna play a lot. So it's probably a good opportunity for the Bucks to rest some of their players too. So for that reason, I'm on DraftKings. On FanDuel, it's a different story because they did not price anybody up. But on DraftKings, I think you can mainly avoid the Brooklyn Nets except for one or two pieces, which I like. At shooting guard, we have like James Harden, looks amazing at 11-3. He's expensive though, but it should be a good matchup and a good one against Portland. If you want to go a bit cheaper, there's not really anybody else except for like Jimmy Butler in the 7K range who has a ton of upside against Boston. It should be a close game. It's not going to be the best for like not the best fantasy game, but at $7,200 Butler can pay off that price tag pretty easily, and I think it looks fine today. And then if you go super cheap, the Mavericks are dealing with an injury, and I think it could go overlooked. It's Seth Curry is doubtful for today. He played 35 minutes in the last game, so that's going to open up a lot of minutes for DeLon Wright. And everybody's favorite, Trey Burke, is only like 30 something, like 3,300, I think, or 3,600. He should be like a very nice value play on a slate that there's not a lot of value plays because DraftKings priced everybody up. So those are the plays that I'm looking at shooting guard. I'll just skip that position. Small forward wise, we have Luka looks great. It's probably my favorite spend up if I had to pick one. You also have some other guys that look appealing, like Paul George at 81. TJ Warren was amazing once again yesterday. Now that they're getting Oladipo back, it's a much tougher matchup against Orlando. You could go to him if you want, but I like going up 100 for Paul George a little bit more, or going all the way down to 72 for Jimmy Butler. So I think I'll probably go with Butler here. He's only 7,200. He's going to be the guy that carries the heat. Played 33 minutes yesterday. Only took 9 shots, but still had 38 fantasy points, which was decent. He's always good at getting blocks and, well, especially steals because he's super aggressive defensively. And I think he's going to have a pretty solid game against Boston, although it's a tougher matchup. Price tag just looked really nice on Butler today. Power forward, we have Giannis at 10-9. I'm not interested just because of the game. I think it's just going to get super ugly. I won't be shocked if Giannis just plays like 25 minutes today. Yusuf Nurkic, power forward eligible. He looks great. I love Nurkic. And then you have DeAndre Ayton at 7,500. I think he looks solid against Phoenix. Anytime you can get a center playing at power forward eligible on DraftKings, I will definitely have some more interest in him. And then you could look at like Kuruk. I think is like the one net that I like. So you should start play the stretch 5. He's been playing backup center minutes. Only problem with him has been the foul trouble. He's gotten 5 fouls in 17 minutes and 5 fouls in 16 minutes. Now he's gonna have Giannis coming up and down. He's gonna have Giannis coming down the lane. So hopefully he can stay out of foul trouble. I mean, it's kind of random, except if you're like Jaren Jackson, but I think he still looks decent. Before that, before the last 2 games, he hasn't been super bad at getting fouls. It's just been the last 2 games where he's really struggled. But now that they have nobody, they're probably going to need him to not be super aggressive on that end. But power forward wise, I think DeAndre Ayton at 7,500 looks really solid. Only played 21 minutes because he had 5 fouls against the Mavericks. But it was another high scoring game. The Suns actually won that game, so now they're 2-0 in the scrimmages. So they still have some life in the Western Conference. Not much, but still some chance to maybe get that 9 seed. They got to jump over a few teams. And it's a spot where the Clippers have given up some big fantasy points to centers because they don't really have a big guy besides Zubac, who's not the best defender, and I think DeAndre Ayton will be able to take him to school. So 75 for Ayton, I think, looks tremendous at center. At power forward. And then at center, we have Yusef Nurkic. Love him against Houston and their small ball lineup. And then I like Nikola Vucevic a lot at 7,800. Great price tag for Vooch. Price tag has dropped by $900, even though he's been playing very solid. Only played 24 minutes because that game was literally over at like halftime against Sacramento. But was amazing with almost average 2 fantasy points per minute in that game. Finished with 47.5. It's a fine spot. Miles Turner doesn't really strike fear. He's a decent defender, but we saw Embiid the other day just go off against him, and he can get into foul trouble at times too. Vucevic is super skilled offensively. He can get the job done at 7,800. Thing looks like a great center option. Now we go for a value play, which I like, and that's kind of be like Trey Burke. I think looks pretty solid as a value play. I don't know if it would be super popular today. He's 3,600, which is a really nice price tag. Only reason I'm playing him is because Seth Curry is doubtful and you play 35 minutes, so you should at least see in the mid-20s. And if he's playing really well, it might be get you like close to 30, but I'm expecting like 25 minutes out of Burke. And with how much he likes to shoot, if he gets hot, then probably will pay off that salary really quickly. And then at forward, we have like Nurkic at 85 is pretty. I don't think you can pay up, but then you're gonna have to go super deep to 4K options. So you can do something like that if you want. I think Nurkic looks really solid today. I like him, how well he's looked watching the games against the two games that he's had so far in the scrimmages. He played 33 and 32 minutes against Memphis and Boston. Now he's playing against Houston. And I think he can crush here if he wants to. PJ Tucker is not going to really offer resistance. He can get you a lot of putbacks. Hopefully, he can get you a lot of blocks and steals. And you get another guy that's at center. You can play at power forward. So those guys have so much upside. So I will go with Nurkic at forward. And then for the 4K value plays, you have a bunch of options. You could take a shot on like somebody on the Nets, somebody like on the Clippers. They're cheap, but I like these 6 quite a bit. I think you can get you like a ton out of the Butler, DeAndre Ayton, Vucevic, Nurkic foursome, and even Fox. So that's it for the Draftkings plays. I will touch over on Fanduel now, and their prices are pretty different, especially on the Brooklyn Nets. All right, over on Fanduel, we have point guard. You have Russell Westbrook, 9,600. I think he looks fine. The game is probably going to look really appealing to stack. I love De'Aaron Fox once again, 7,500 for him. And then you have some value plays. Don't know how many minutes Bledsoe's going to play. Probably not a lot, but he's only 47. Might be worth a shot in tournaments. And then you have $4,000 for the Nets point guards, Jakoza and Tyler Johnson. I like Johnson way more. But give me Fox 7,500. I like the price tag on him. I think he can go nuts today against the Mavericks. Shooting guard, you have Luka Doncic, 11,000. I like him over Harden today. And then you have Devin Booker. I like him at 7,600 against the Clippers. Even though the matchup is kind of tough, but Booker has looked pretty solid in the 2 games so far. And in the last game, he got into foul trouble. He fouled out and was still solid in the 31 minutes. And the Suns actually have some life. So if they didn't have anything to play for, I would be a little hesitant. But they at least have some life, and so Booker should play 35, 36 minutes in a close game. And then for cheap plays at this position, you have like Garrett Temple. You have 3,800 for TLC, Timothy Luau-Cabarro. So you could look at some of those too if you want. But right now, I think that I'm probably just gonna kind of like prioritize maybe like Luka Doncic. At small forward, you have Giannis. Not interested today, just because not paying that much for Giannis when the game. I don't have confidence that the game is going to stay close. I love TJ Warren at 6,400, much different than 8,000 on FanDuel, even though the matchup is tough. But 64 should be able to get the job done now that he's playing power forward. Gets you a lot more rebounding opportunities, and he has like a knack for the ball the first 2 games. So I think he's probably my favorite small forward play. Then you have Evan Fournier, $5,000, definitely cheap. You have Jay Crowder, 41, Harrison Barnes. Got the value plays if you want, but TJ Warren, I like. It gives you that nice combination of solid floor with a massive ceiling. Power forward, we have like Jason Tatum, 81. Don't mind it. Covington, he's fine. Price tag keeps going up though. But guys whose price tag is going down, which I like a lot, is Aaron Gordon. Now he's 5,600 on DraftKings. He's like really expensive, so I'm not that interested there. But 56 for Gordon, I have a lot of interest in. The Jonathan Isaac news once again is going to help him. Unfortunately, Isaac got hurt again towards ACL. But that's going to mean more minutes for Aaron Gordon, who hasn't been playing a lot. But that was because the game was over in Sacramento very quickly. And then Brooklyn, that game was also over. So they didn't have to play that many fourth quarter minutes. But with Isaac now out, he's going to probably go back to playing like 34, 35 minutes. And that's going to mean like Gordon should be able to get you at least 6x here pretty easily. And I think the upside for him is through the roof today. At least on FanDuel at that point per dollar wise. And then a center, I like Nurkic the most, followed by Vucevic and Ayton. I think the price, I'll probably get up to one of those three. And then if you want to go cheap, you can for like a Miles Turner. But I am going to go with Nurkic. I love how he's looked. I like the upside that he brings you with the blocks and steals, especially on FanDuel. 8,200 is not that expensive if we're getting 32 minutes out of him like we have been. So that is all for this breakdown. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed. If you did, you can drop a like down below, and good luck today.